Impact. Left shoulder.
Nice shot.
Nice.
This is going to be a little bit of a different video than what we normally do here on Alabama Arsenal. This video is going to be more about an experience with a firearm than a review of a particular item. I'd also like to encourage you to go out and have experiences and adventures with your firearms, whether that's a training class with an AR or a pistol, entering a PRS match, or seeing how far you can shoot a long-range rifle. Whatever it is, you need to get out and use your guns, get experience, support places that host these events, and get new people involved so we can keep our 2A community strong. In this case, I was invited by a good friend of the channel to go to Arena Training Facility in Georgia. Arena is a massive shooting facility that caters to many different firearm disciplines, and basically anything you want to shoot, they have the absolute best possible scenarios set up to do just that. Most interesting to me is they have a range that goes out to 2,500 yards, and this was a very big deal to me at the time because my longest shot prior to this date was 1,760 yards or 1 mile. Many people have asked me why I want to keep trying to shoot farther, and it's kind of hard to explain other than I want to keep pushing my limits. Plus, I feel every time that you push your limits and get outside of your comfort zone a bit, that's when you really start learning. If you need more reason than that, all I can say is, why did we fly to the moon to drive a go-kart around? I don't know, man, because it's there and to see if I can. I actually took 2 rifles capable of making this shot. At the time we were wrapping up the review on the Desert Tech SRS M2 and 338 Lapua Magnum, and while this rifle would be very capable of making that shot, after shooting it a good bit at a mile and doing some other stuff for the video, I ran out of 338 Lapua Magnum, an easy thing to do when it costs between $5 and $7 a round. But I also had with me my Barrett MRAD in 300PRC. I've been a huge fan of 300PRC. It's always done everything I've ever asked of it and performed extremely well. I'm not going to turn this video into a discussion about the ballistics of 300PRC, but at the simplest level, I'll break it down like this. 300PRC is a little more powerful than 300 Win Mag and a little less powerful than 338 Lapua Magnum. It propels a 225 grain bullet downrange at a little over 2,900 feet per second, and that bullet stays supersonic to roughly 1,900 yards, significantly past a mile at 1,760 yards. In my current arsenal, this is the caliber that I have the best chance of taking out past a mile. When you're trying to shoot this far, your scope is actually more important than your rifle. If you can't see the target at those distances, they'll be even harder to hit. For glass on top of my Barrett MRAD, I have a Leupold Mark V HD 7-35 power. I am a huge fan of the Mark V lineup. I actually have 2 of them, and they are the best scopes that I own. The glass is exceptionally clear for the price, and I'm also a huge fan of the controls. There's a hard zero stop and indicators to let you know what rotation and elevation you are on in the turret, which is a great feature when you're trying to shoot this far. I feel that everything on the Mark V is extremely well thought out, and it is just a phenomenal scope. On this day, for suppression, I had the king of silencers, the CGS Hyperion. This is at least currently the quietest silencer made, and it impresses everyone that hears it for the first time.
I got you.
But not only is the silencer extremely quiet, but it's also engineered with the precision shooter in mind. It will have 0 ill effects on accuracy. I always have a Hyperion on me when I go shooting. I don't want to leave home without it. I really like Atlas bipods, and on my Barrett I keep the H5. This is currently the biggest Atlas in the lineup, and that wider stance along with a little extra weight will give me just a little bit more stability trying to make those longer shots. I feel Atlas delivers the best bipods for the money. You can spend more and you can spend less, but at least in my findings, the Atlas is really hard to beat. They are rock solid and have plenty of adjustment to get your rifle stabilized in any situation. Okay, so that's basically the caliber and the setup, so now let's get into making the shot. So exactly how far is 2,200 yards? Well, it's 22 football fields. It would be 6,600 feet. It would also be 1.25 miles. Let's say you have a drone that flies at an advertised 23 miles an hour. Flying at full speed to 2,200 yards takes just under 5 minutes. I had to speed this footage up because I didn't want to waste your time. But let's just say it's really far. We have multiple videos with multiple rifles shooting at 1 mile. So for this video, since it's about the longest shots, we're going to start at 1900. And one thing I learned very quickly is the shots get exponentially harder when you go past 1 mile. You find out real quick what elements of your gear works and what elements don't. One thing I greatly underestimated was how hard it was going to be to spot at these distances. It is extremely difficult to see misses or hits when you're shooting this far. Here's some shots on a man-sized target at 1900.
Impact. Left shoulder.
Nice shot.
Nice.
22, not that far.
Ready.
I got nothing for you. Oh, I think you did. Did you
Below me.
Did you check out the flight time on those shots? Okay, I'm not going to say 1900 was an easy shot, but it was very doable. But things get a lot harder as we go out to 2200, and here's why I think that is. According to my numbers, my 300 PRC is going subsonic somewhere between 1800 and 1900 yards. So getting a 1900 yard shot of it isn't asking that much because the bullet has just gone subsonic. And while I don't put a lot of weight in transonic shift, I do think that once the projectile goes subsonic, it is greatly affected by any outside forces, whether that be wind or whatever. So trying to squeeze a few hundred more yards out of it gets tricky. That all led to a lot of interesting commentary like this.
You might have made impact though, but you definitely would have been on the right side of the target.
Okay.
How come we can hit a man-sized target at 19 and can't hit a giant
Barn door.
Those are the kind of epic questions we're trying to answer here on Alabama Arsenal. Why can you hit a man-sized target at 1900 and can't hit a barn door at 2200? I'm gonna say it's because the bullet's gone subsonic, but I guess that's still up for debate. We did eventually back it up to 2200 yards, and here's what it looked like.
dead center just below it. Oh my gosh.
Let me take one more.
Just aim at the top of the target.
Yeah, try 15, man. Everyone's
But
going
you know
short.
what I was aiming
I'll
with?
hold off to the right.
Almost
For the
4 mils of wind.
4 mils of wind.
Yep.
4 mils of wind.
It's still moving a little bit.
It's pretty steady.
Right. I mean, right to left. Aim at the bottom of the target. Let's see if we can see something.
I know some of that footage was a little rough, but you got to give me a break. It was at 2200 yards. In fact, that was one of the big learning experiences for me, is that I need a spotting scope that I can see further. Mine works great to a mile, but that's about the extent of it. I don't know if you caught that, but flight time on the projectile was like 5 seconds. That means the bullet is in the air for 5 seconds before it hits the target. I don't know why, but that kind of blows my mind. The day ended up being a great time with everyone claiming at least one shot on the 2200 yard plate. I'm looking forward to going back at some point and seeing if I can push out just a little bit farther. This was such a good time with great friends, making amazing, memorable accomplishments. And that's why I want to encourage you to get out and have experiences with your firearms. Long range might not be your thing, but you can take a pistol class, you can take an AR class. There are a lot of things that you can do. It'll help you as a shooter, bring a friend, and help build the 2A community. Guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. And I hope you enjoyed watching that as much as I enjoyed making that. That was a really cool time. Let me know in the comments section if you enjoy a video like this, and if you don't worry, we're going to get right back to the reviews and we'll have some new ones coming out soon. So make sure you subscribe to the channel with the bell notification so YouTube may let you know when those videos hit. If you want to know what's being reviewed in real time, be sure to check us out on Facebook and Instagram. There you can see what's being reviewed in real time. If you want to help support the channel, the best possible way to do that is through Patreon. These videos can be surprisingly expensive to make, and every little bit helps and is greatly appreciated. There's Alabama Arsenal gear available right below the video if you want to go out and represent. And as always guys, thank you so much for watching.